Hello and welcome to the Hume podcast from and Lowell. For those of you who don't know us, Hume is a recruitment training business co-founded by myself, Ed Khan, and Laura Hopes.
And each week we're going to be giving you 10-minute snippets into our world of recruitment, tips and tricks to help you on your journey as an agency recruiter, and hopefully some laughs along the way too. We hope you guys enjoy.
Hello everyone, welcome to episode 11 or 12 or 13, depending on where we push this one out. This week we are talking about starting your own recruitment agency. So there's been quite a lot of people over the last year or two that have gone out on their own, and what often happens, given that we advise agency owners, they typically make the same mistakes, and it's always the same mistakes. It's financial stuff, it's database stuff, it's marketing stuff, it's wanting to grow for the wrong reasons and growing too early or too late. There's so many things that just happen, and I wish I knew certain things before starting the business.
Yeah. The first one would be for me is thinking that you will have time to do all of the processy stuff once you're up and running.
Yeah, that is the biggest one.
If you think that once you launch, then you can, once you've got some money in the bank, then you can start thinking about how you're going to code your database and how you're going to do X, Y, and Z. Every single new recruitment agency that we work with, we have, spoken to about this. It's once you're up and running, that is it, and it's very hard to revisit it. And that would be honestly one of my biggest pieces of advice, and I would attribute so much of Lotus People's initial success to was Sinead and I spent so long getting every single system and process and database thing in place so that when we picked up that first job, it was all ready to go.
That is definitely how most companies are the opposite of what they do. Typically, I see. They go, oh no, we'll just do things as and when they come up. So they pick up a job and they go, shit, we don't have terms of business. Let's do the terms of business. Shit, we don't have a process for advertising. There's no processes in place. And those things are the things that take time and actually hinder your ability to hit the ground running.
Yeah. Because it's very easy, and I think the reason we've seen such a rise of people going out on their own in the last year or two is because everyone started working at home in COVID and realised, hang on a minute, all I actually need is a database and a phone, and I can do this from anywhere. But then I think what happens is then those kind of one-man bands go to scale, and it's like, oh, I don't have any of the processes in place to scale.
Yeah, I think the database is the biggest one. I reckon we can do this whole episode on just the value of your database.
100%.
I mean, I did the same with Spencer Lane, literally for weeks, doing research, adding contacts, adding candidates, coding them, because if that's not done, then your marketing's not going to hit the mark.
Yeah.
And it's as you said, most people go, oh, we'll do it when we need it, and it's 2 years in, and we've been in the situation with agencies that we advise and we go, why is this not done? You're 2 years in, you've got thousands of things to now fix, and then it's a huge project.
Yeah.
And often they then have to lose a lot of data to sort of clean it.
Yeah. It's one of the biggest things, get your ducks in a row. You'd normally have a good phrase for this, wouldn't you? Normally you pull out a little quote card. There'll be something. And I think the other big thing, or the conversation we have with a lot of people, is why do you want to scale? And I think a lot of people feel like they should scale because that's the thing that you do. And I think there's real what's bravery? Oh my god, I was gonna say bravity. It's like what? There's real bravery in actually saying, I don't want to grow my business in that way.
Yeah. And this is something that I always share with those smaller agencies that are looking to scale. And I share, not specifics, but I can tell anyone listening now, I know businesses with 30 consultants that are barely profitable.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, I know one-man bands that make $1 million a year.
Yeah.
I know which business I'd rather have.
100%. But I get asked this all the time with Hope's Consult. Like, all the time, you know, are you going to add to your team? How come you haven't ever grown the business over 4 years? I'm like, because I don't want to. Because I want to roll out of bed, you know, as if I do. But you know what I mean? Like, I think that some people really suit a lifestyle business where they're completely on their own terms. And I think what one-man bands forget is that you lose all of that the minute you make a hire.
Yeah.
Unless you bring someone into partnership with you, but the minute you are responsible for someone else, there is a level of responsibility for their career, for their growth, for their progression, to create a culture around them. And so, yeah, we're often asked, like, well, okay, the done thing is, like, I start and I do it for 6 months or a year and then I'll scale it. It's like, but why? Like, why do you want to scale it? Like, what are your values that are associated with scale? And I think one of the first questions you should ask yourself when you do set up an agency or when you're thinking about it is, like, what is the plan here?
What's
like,
the point of this?
Yeah, what do I want this to look like?
Yeah, and having a solid plan.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't, you can start a business and just go, I just want to make a bit of money and I'll work it out. That will hinder you so much if you don't have a plan, because so much shit comes up in your first year. And if you don't know what the goal is beyond just, I'm going to make a bit of money, it will be so hard to stay motivated. Because you don't have a goal that you're going to. That's where we're going to laser focus, and it just sharpens everything versus going, I just want to make a bit of money, because that's scattergun approach, and I've seen that happen, and it's exhausting.
Well, I think you just want to stay true to your values, don't you? Like, what do I want? Like, I knew with Hope's Consult that I didn't have an end goal in mind, but I knew this is always going to be a lifestyle business, and I always want this to evolve. That was the goal with it. And with Lotus People, we always knew within 12 months, we want to be seen as one of the top business support recruitment agencies in Australia. Like, that was always a goal. And we will always be recognised for our client and candidate service. And that has, you know, been a thread through. So I think you have to know what you want to be recognised for.
My last few tips, and God, there's so many, but it would be ask for help. It's a very different proposition of being employed, being around other people, and then going out on your own. Not many people can work effectively just on their own, so you need to build a community around you. Reach out to people, ask for help, get people in place that will do the jobs that you can't do. You cannot do everything. You're not a marketer. If you're not naturally marketing led, that's not your vibe, pay someone to do it. You won't be across the finances unless you're that way inclined to pay someone to do your finances. No, we're not. But you pay people to do the jobs that you actually are not good to do. So you can actually focus on the things that you're really good at, i.e. recruitment. You focus on that, pay people to do the other parts, because doing it at the start when you go, oh, I just want to save a bit of money, I'll just do everything. What that does is takes you away from actually billing. And without your billings, there's no business there. So focus on the things that you can focus on, outsource everything else that you possibly can.
Yeah, I think I've only really leaned into that in the last couple of years, and it's liberating. You're like, oh my God, why would I try and do stuff that's not in my wheelhouse?
Yeah.
How exhausting. But definitely, and I would say last point is you need a mentor. You do need a mentor. You need someone to bounce ideas off of. You 100%. Need tough love. You know, I've had some amazing mentors that have just had like the most tough love, just really putting me in my place with stuff. But you need that level of objectivity on your business, because you won't have it. Yeah. Can I lie down now?
Go forth, run great businesses. Call Laura and I if you need some advice.
Yeah.
But we will see you next week.
Thanks, guys.